Anish sir,
Hi Aniket sir, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you, sir?
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah. I can hear
I'm
you
doing
well.
good. Oh, thank you so much, sir. First of all, I would like to give thanks to you for giving us an opportunity to our student and us to understand the current scenario and what exactly uh, expects from. This is what is today's topic. And I'm really grateful that you had given time from your busy schedule. I know everyone nowadays from IT industry, everyone is busy working from home, and you also have so many meetings and all online going on nowadays. And out of your busy schedule, you had given time to a student. That is really grateful. And this session is going live on YouTube also, sir, I think. And
Okay.
so many students from other part of our country, they will also join this session. This is not exclusively for Shreyas student, so they might come up with the doubts what they have in their mind is what would be the condition of IT industry post COVID-19.
Sure.
Everybody is skeptical, and really
Absolutely.
freshers are they are very much confused, means how industry will react and whether the opportunities there or not as previous and we can see from last few years we are doing good campus. Many IT companies are recruiting very good. Now things are not clear, things are dicey. How we'll expect things will go after this COVID and all. So
Right.
we will take to understand more from you because you are currently in an industry and you can see how industry is reacting and what are the things going on currently. And we'll start the session after 10 to 15 minutes. So after 10 minutes, I'm expecting more
Participants
students
to
will
join.
join.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So you think, sir, how things are going on currently, and
Yeah.
what
Thank you so
exactly
much. First of all,
you
for inviting me. It's a good opportunity to reconnect with students. You
is
know,
our is
uh,
our pleasure.
as I might have told you earlier that during the initial days of my career in the IT industry, I was also teaching in a couple of colleges, couple of MBA colleges. So in the last 5 years or so, I have
Yes,
stopped
yes, yes,
doing
sir.
that, but it's a good thing to reconnect with that, and thank you for giving me the opportunity. As you very rightly said, things have changed post COVID. Everyone is working from home. Work from home concept was there earlier as well in the IT industry, but it was never a
Very
mass work from home, and it was considered to be an exception, not the norm. However, in the past 2 or 3 months, it has become the norm,
yes.
and uh, you know, like we have to kind of adapt quickly to everyone working from home. So in a office setting, things like walk up to someone's desk and quickly call a couple of folks into a meeting room, and you draw something on the whiteboard and you explain it to them. Those kind of things have changed, where you kind of have to get in touch
Very true
with one
because
person on a call. Yeah.
what what I understand, we are not designed to work in this manner actually. Our,
Right. We
our
did not.
working culture is
Yeah.
totally different.
Right.
Uh,
Absolutely. Especially in the IT industry, in the
this might take some
in the
time.
correct. It was more designed to be working or co-working or from one space, which kind of has changed in the last 3 months. So it's a new experience for all of us. There are definitely some challenges, certain things that we have to face from day to day. I mean, on a day-to-day basis, which we had not expected, and things suddenly became slow for everyone. So
Well,
say I could do 100% of the work in a day in office, that has changed to maybe
mhm,
now I can do 75% or 80% of the work. And when I combine that to the entire team, everyone doing 75% or 80% of the work in a day. So, suddenly things have slowed down. The
mhm.
paces of the project or the work that we were doing has slowed down. So yes, it's a new thing, but it's a good thing as well.
Okay.
Probably, we as the entire industry are learning to adapt and innovate and certain things. So it's a good thing. It's a new thing. We shouldn't be afraid of trying new things.
Uh, I think many of the students they have joined us. Let me formally introduce Mr. Aniket to each and everyone who's there. Mr. Aniket is currently working with Trundle as a director of product engineer, as a director of product engineering, and he's having experience of more than 10 plus years working with IT companies. He worked with companies like TCS, PwC, Walmart Labs, PayPal, and currently he is working with Twitter, as I said earlier. So, sir will take us to the session, which is, as we all know, the topic is what industry currently expect from freshers and what is the scenario after COVID. Sir, kindly take on the session, and thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Anish sir, and I would like to welcome all the students who have joined, and uh, it's I was as I was telling Anish sir before, some of you have joined. It's good to connect back with the students. Not too far ago, I was also in a position that you are today, and I would have loved to hear about certain things, or expectations from the freshers. I mean, don't get me wrong. I also had all the help, but these kind of things, the more you get to know, the better it is. And you are better prepared for your journey as a professional. So thank you very much for introducing me, sir. I think you've done a very good job of introducing me. You've covered everything. So my name is Aniket Banerjee. I'm the director of product engineering at Trundle. Right now, I have worked with
Mhm.
various companies like TCS, PwC, Walmart, PayPal. So some of these names you may have heard. You may have heard all of these names. So, I can only tell you what I have gathered from my experience in the IT industry. And, I have had a chance to go to colleges, interview freshers. And I have done mass hiring drives, or, been a part or a panel of mass hiring drives. And I kind of can only tell you, what I have experienced or what I have what I look for in a candidate. But I think it is a fair idea of, by the end of this, I hope you will have a fair idea of, what the entire industry is expecting. Again, it's not a formula or anything, that, you just, घोल के पी जाने वाला. So you just kind of have to, take care of certain things and, hope for the best. So I'm just going to take you through a presentation, a small presentation that I have prepared. It is in four parts where I will be talking about.
Sorry
Yeah,
to sorry to interrupt you, sir.
yeah,
After
yeah,
this session, just an information to all the members who joined us. We would love to take a question, but after the session, there will be a question answer session at the end of the session. So if you want to ask anything, please write your question and you can ask Mr. Aniket at the end of the session. Sir, please continue. Thank you.
yeah. So as I was saying, the session is divided into a small presentation and then into a Q&A session. The presentation itself is in four parts where I will be talking about the current landscape today, post-COVID, effect. And apart from that, I will also be talking about the expectations from the freshers, the academic expectation, the expectation during the interview, and the on-the-job expectations. And then we can move forward to the Q&A round. Okay, so without wasting any more time, let us quickly jump into the presentation. So the landscape today, you all may know about the effect of COVID in various sectors, not just the IT industry. Things have slowed down, especially in manufacturing and all, where things have to be done physically or in the factory or on the shop floor. Those things have certainly, been affected more than other things. But even in the IT industry, things have slowed down because IT industry caters to many other industries. So it can be selling things to other companies that are in the IT industry. It could be doing a software for manufacturing. It could be doing a software for banking and financial. You all know there are the possibilities are limitless. And after this COVID-19, since everyone's spending power has reduced because their earnings have reduced, the the projects or the number of new deals that the IT industries or IT companies are also getting have reduced, due to which the hiring has also reduced, in proportion. Um, right now in the market, the supply is more than demand. A lot of companies have let, their people go. Yeah, yeah, I'm there.
Okay,
Thank you
yes,
for,
please go ahead.
staying online. I just lost electricity for 2 minutes. So, maybe in a minute or two, you'll be able to see me back and see the screen back again. If you are not, do let me
I
know.
can see you, sir. Please continue, sir.
Oh, okay. So as I was talking about the economic slowdown and the supply is greater than the demand, a lot of companies have let a sizable amount of sizable volume of their employees go in this economic slowdown. Either as a layoff or in the form of firing. Right now, there are not many open job positions, but there are a lot of people who are without jobs, with experience, without experience, so those kind of things. So at this moment, the supply is greater than demand, or the number of people are more without a job than the number of job openings. But having said this, there is no need to be, disheartened or anything. There are a few positive things as well that we can look at. Um, this COVID-19 has affected all the companies globally. So, in this economic condition, a lot of companies or a lot of global firms are looking to find more people in India. So say an American company like Walmart could have let a few Americans go, or they could have hired a few Americans, and instead of that they are looking to hire some Indians who can do the same job for a lower salary because they are based in India. So it is a good thing as well, but again, right now, as I said, the supply is greater than demand. There is more people who are looking for a job than the number of job openings, as I said. Yeah, and there is still a value for niche skills. Currently in the IT industry, the niche skills are, artificial intelligence, ML, data science, blockchain, cloud computing. Even if you are not aware of these skills, or you are not a master of these skills, you can still work on it. You can invest in trainings. This is also a good time for everyone to take a step back and invest in things that would really help them in the future. So skills like AI, ML, data science, blockchain, cloud computing, Python or AWS, those kind of things are top skills in the market. You can also search about the top skills on LinkedIn or on Google or or on various job boards, and you would come to know what is exactly the demand in the market. So good time to invest in those trainings. Spend time learning those things. Now, moving ahead to the academic expectations that the industry has of freshers is cutoff criteria, and why do companies enforce it? So first of all, cutoff criteria are probably going to go up from where they were last year. As to why companies enforce it, it is simply to select the best of the best. As I said that at this unfortunate time, and I keep coming back to this, that the supply is more than demand, or the number of people are more than the number of job openings. We everyone, not just us, everyone is kind of looking to hire the best, so that everyone can kind of get the best talent and the best people in the job. Having said that, there is not, I mean, don't worry about it too much. Things will pan out the way that they are supposed to. There is not much that you can do in terms of changing the economic landscape, but again, you can work on certain things. uh, Working on certain things is, the next thing is, you have to know your tech concepts during the interview, or during your academics. So again, I'm only talking from the point of view of the IT industry. So these are the top tech concepts that that are important, or anyone is looking for in a person who is willing to join the IT industry. So you have to know your programming languages, your data structure, object-oriented programming, RDBMS, things. I was talking about knowing your tech concept during the interview. The next thing is the projects, and it is very important. The projects that you mention in your CV, or you take up as major project or minor project during your sixth sem, or eighth sem or seventh sem, those kind of projects are very important and very necessary that you know them. I have also been a student at some point in time, and I know that it is we write certain things or a lot of things which we have not done, just to kind of increase the the number of things that we are putting up on the CV. It is completely the opposite. Even if you put one project that you have done, but you have done honestly, and you are you are able to talk about it, that is more important than putting three projects and not knowing anything, or just knowing one or two lines or on the surface. And believe me, we are well equipped to talk about projects and know your involvement in them, or your role in the projects. And so if you are lying, it is it is going to come out. So again, very important to write limited number of projects, but only the ones that you have really been a part of, or are aware of what it is completely. Okay. One more thing that is really hot right now, or really in demand right now, is full stack development. And by full stack development, I mean front end, back end, database, infrastructure, cloud computing, networking, the complete picture or the complete scenario. If you know the complete scenario of development, or if you are able to talk to someone in the IT industry, maybe your friend, maybe your brother or sister or cousin, or your parents, or someone do talk to them, ask them about full stack development, know the entire picture. That is more important than anything else. Knowing the entire picture of full stack development. You don't have to be a master at everything. Let me be very clear. The expectation is to be aware of what the full stack development is, not to be a master of front end, back end, database, uh, infrastructure, AWS, cloud computing. No, we just want you to be aware of how things are there, and how systems are connected. So after that, the talking most importantly, the coding languages or the programming languages. Again, it is not important to know, five coding languages, but not knowing any one of them properly. So you have to know, even if you know one coding language, but you know it very well, we are more than happy to, uh, talk to you, or, take you as an employee. But if you know five languages, but you only know the names of them, or, you know just basic syntax of them, or you cannot even write one basic program in each of it, then it is of no use. So very important is to balance the quantity, or keep the quality above more than the quantity. Okay. Now moving ahead to the interview expectations. This is all your academic expectations. You can do this, be a prepare very well during your academics, but you also have to prepare for your interview. And for interview, the most important thing is to prepare and be aware of what the expectations are, and not go unprepared into the interview. Don't be a person like this where the interviewer asks you, a simple question and you can't even answer that. Okay, so don't be this person. uh, what you have to know is the first image, okay, matters. So the way the interviewer sees you, first, is very important. And by this I mean your appearance. You don't have to wear a really expensive shirt, or a certain color or anything, or a tie or a jacket, but whatever you are wearing, be clean. Wear a an ironed shirt, or wear if you're wearing a salwar kameez, just make sure that it is clean, washed and ironed, because your first image matters. And very important to know is that when you are appearing for an interview, the interviewer will see you as an employee of that company. So it is very important to manage your appearance. Okay, I'm sure you must have heard of it. All that I am talking about in this presentation, I'm sure you are aware of all of this, but I just want to brush through all the points again. Okay. Next important thing is to listen before speaking. I have taken so many interviews where people are so eager to answer something that they know, that they don't even listen to the question. And most often, when you answer before you listen to the question, your answer is incorrect. Okay, or it is not what the interviewer is asking. So listen before you speak. Think after you listen. Okay, it is okay to take 1 minute after listening to the question before answering it. Okay, and believe me, the interviewer will appreciate your taking a break, or thinking about your answer before speaking. Okay. um, the obviously, no doubt about this, you need to be confident in your communication. Don't be shaky, don't be nervous. I know it is easier said than done. But again, when you are going for an interview, the interviewer is talking to you as a employee, or they are looking at you as an employee of that organization. So if you are talking to them in a confident manner, again, confident, not arrogant. If you're talking to them in a confident manner, it will really accentuate your position. Or even if you make certain small mistakes during the interview, those will be overlooked if your communication is confident. And again, confident communication does not mean a great command over a particular language. So if you are talking in English, and if you do not have a great command over English language, that is still okay. You can still be confident. Use your vocabulary to the best, to communicate. Again, practice, practice, practice. Practice will make you perfect. Do some mock interviews with your friends, with your siblings at home, or with your friends in college, your classmates, or anyone you can talk to. Okay. And finally, it is very important to know when to say I don't know, rather than attempting a half-baked answer. Believe me, saying a confident I don't know, or I'm not aware of this, but I will, uh, make sure that I go back from this interview and I learn about it. It is, it will create such a great impression, and it will help you so greatly that you cannot even imagine right now. So very important to say I don't know. I'm sure these principles will apply to even to your vivas that you give during your engineering examinations and all that. So again, be confident, and don't talk rubbish. Take some time, think about your answer, whether you know it or not. If you do not know it, confidently say I don't know. Also, but don't say I don't know to 70 or 80% of the questions, just because I said that. So you have to know something, but again, if you don't know, just don't start talking anything, and waste the interviewer's time as well as your time. It is better to talk about something that you know, rather than use something that you don't know, and screwing up your chances. Okay, then moving forward to the on-the-job expectations, of the candidates, or of the freshers. So OTJ here means on the job. Um, so once you clear the interview and you become an employee of any organization, we understand that you have zero experience, and you are freshers, you are fresh out of college. Whatever knowledge you have is from the textbooks or the college books. So we expect freshers to, or everyone expects the freshers to learn on the fly. And by meaning on the fly, I mean, think about a bird. The first time it flies, it has never flown before that. Okay, so think of yourself as a bird who is learning to fly. So when you take the flight, you have to learn about certain aspects of flying, or or working, or the job, while you are flying, or while you are working. So during the initial years of your career, maybe 2 or 3 years of your career, you have to be very, very eager to learn, or I mean, the industry expects you, or the companies that hire you will expect you to learn, and they may not give you a time specifically for learning. If they do, great. But even if they don't, even if they put you in a project from day one, you must have the ability to learn during the job. Second is adaptability. So I understand that you may have learned about Java or C++ in your engineering, and suddenly when you are on the job, you have been asked to work on React.js, or say Python, something that you do not have an experience of, or you don't have a knowledge of. So be flexible, be adaptable. Don't think of it as an adversity, think of it as an opportunity. So apart from your knowledge in Java and C++, you are getting to learn one more thing. So again, learning will, feature very regularly in your job. And, just be sure of one thing: the day you, stop learning, that is the day when you are digging your own grave in the job, or, you are basically allowing the employer or your company to, you know, get rid of you, or, fire you. So if you have the ability to learn and adapt, and, be uh, present in the moment, you will do just fine. This is something that is out of the box presentation skills, but it is something that's not necessary, but it will help you a great deal to be successful. So presentation skills is not something that anyone expects out of engineering graduate or an engineering fresher. But if you have presentation skills, There is nothing like it. I mean, if you can summarize the your project in front of the client, it will mean that you will have a client facing role, sooner rather than later. You may be expected to be on site, or travel abroad, or travel domestically as well, sooner rather than later. So if you have great presentation skills or great communication, it will help you a great deal in succeeding quickly, or having that edge over others that do not. Okay. Finally, one more thing is having a creative mind or an innovative mind. Again, this is not something that is necessary, but it is something that will help you a great deal. So if you have a creative mind or innovative mind, or able to, or you are able to think differently from others, it will help you a great deal. So if say you are testing a piece of code and you have been given a test script to execute, where the steps that you have to execute, and you just have to see whether the output matches the expected output. But if you have a creative mind, and you are able to figure out scenarios that that are not listed, or that are not on paper, or that no one has thought of, that kind of things will really push your career forward very quickly. So no one expects you to create an app of your own, in the beginning. But the more creative mind you have, or the more innovative mind you have, is something that will help you move forward very quickly. Again, these are not a formula that will help everyone, or that everyone needs to follow, but it is something that you need to be aware of, and be probably work on it to kind of move ahead. Okay. Um, so uh, finally, I think I'm done from my side. I will give it up to you to ask any questions that you may have. I'm sorry if I took a little longer than expected because of power fluctuations. So the floor is yours, Anish.